Welcome to another Motortown post-event race commentary. Today we got the TWL's Gravel Gallop first set. It's another one of those races where I participated in both sets, or more like I'm going to participate in the second set as well. I'm actually recording this between both sets, so the second one is coming up in a few hours for me and I'm looking forward to participating. Will definitely take a few lessons I learned from the first set in order to maybe have a better time in the second one. The first race went amazing, lot of fun. The second one, different story. We are going to see all of them both, so maybe let's just get started here. For the cars and limitations here, the engine that we are using is the inline 450 horsepower engine, and the subclass here is the lightweight. I'm usually only using a few of those cars in my sports retro events, which I really like. Thematically strong, nice cars, and works like a charm. This time around we have the full class available, so we can see in front of me we have the Stella, and there's also a few other more modern cars available here. And yeah, you saw that the person in front of me had a bit of a lag moment and it got worse instead of better. Let's wind that back because there's a lot of things happening here. First up, dude is lagging, so instead of really just moving, he lagged backwards and that got me there. Then he also had a bit of a run-in with the other person in the front row, and yeah, we didn't all make it through there nicely. I managed to get back into second place and the people in front of me managed to take each other out, so here we are, first place for a moment, but I'm immediately getting overtaken again by Lilaxery. I hope I say it correctly. So we are now fighting for first position here, both in the Fortum. And yeah, we are going to see how this one goes. This should be 5 laps, so quite the distance to go. And it's of course happening on A-wall reverse. So the track is meant to be driven in the other direction, but due to a few jumps here and there, it turns out that the reverse layout is far more reliable for racing. The first jump that we are going to do is coming up right here, the bridge jump, which is quite the killer in the other direction, because on the ramp up over here, it leads to a massive jump and not often a very stable landing. But in this direction you just drop off the bridge deck and when you're good to go again, nothing too crazy. The second issue is the upcoming bumps over here. From the other direction you come in with a lot more speed, and usually, since this is kind of like a double bumpy jump setup, you have enough speed to really get some airtime on the first jump, but usually you just run right into the slope of the second one, either tipping your car over or giving you a lot of damage, so this direction with lower speed works out quite a bit better. But yes, first lap over, I'm in first place and I'm now going to slide out because being first is not my thing really. I'm just not consistent enough and I immediately get overtaken by Omni Hill over here. So I've been using this car a few times now. The last time was doing the 2WD, well, yeah, two-wheel drive rally event a while ago, which also had a few smaller cars as part of them, as part of the event lineup. The thing is, back then the car didn't really work well for me. I decided to change a few things. So we now have a shorter gear ratio. I changed out the final drive ratio in order to make the car a bit more responsive, even though that comes at the expense of top speed. But for these races, there shouldn't be a long enough straight to begin with in order to really need that top speed. And also I stiffened up the rear a little bit. I always felt that it was a bit too understeery and this should definitely help it. I'm of course using rally tires here because, well, we are fully off-road, so yeah, using performance tires wouldn't be too great here. But yeah, I'm trying to keep up with Omni Hill, but not really having too much luck there. Raging is slowly creeping up from behind, and yeah, you likely know by now, Raging is one of the fastest people in the community here, so yeah, I don't fully expect to be keeping the place here, especially if I drive like this. That first turn, it's really tempting to try and take as much speed through it as you can, but really you should be going with moderate speed, be a bit more safe, and especially set up for the next turn. But if you are going like me, just completely disregarding the next turn, you might be going very quickly through one of the turns, but completely failing the next one. There's an expense to that, and it's one that I shouldn't be paying. You can also see in my chat down there just the amount of jumps that I'm doing each lap. It's it's a fun track. But yeah, I'm not really being able to keep up with Omni Hill, and you can see from the from how my rear is lighting up, Raging is right behind me. We seem to be having a bit of a rhythm to our races here, and it's not the same one, because in some corners I managed to just completely run away from him, and then in the next corner he just catches back up again. This was a bit of a weird setup for me. I should have taken a different line through the jumps. It didn't get me to a good line to start off that turn, but not too much of a problem right now. That's the end of the third lap. And I'm slowly getting better at this entire section here, I wanna say. I mean, it's not quite as awful as the past ones. I also wasn't sure if I can pass through the checkpoint flag, so I tried correcting for that. Wasn't necessary, and if it was a solid object, I would have ran into it head first anyways, so really didn't do me much favor there. Yeah, Raging right on my butt here. So this might be where he gets me. Also have to slow down a bit in order to not run into the gantry right there. And yeah, one thing important with these cars, especially with this engine, they are still decently quick, but you really need to be right in the power band. If you are running these with lower RPMs, you are going to suffer quite a lot, and it's not going to be too nice for you. So keeping the car really where it can put down a lot of power, that's important here. And especially with rally racing being a bit more frantic, it's not always the easiest. Yeah, this is a much better line through the jumps, setting up for the next turn a bit more nicely on the inside there. And I don't know what happened to Raging there, but I definitely made it through that section quite a bit faster, and I'm now pulling ahead again. Again, this is a really fun little thing happening. We are just looking at the distance between us sometimes. Because it's not like he's constantly on my butt, but yeah, I don't manage to fully pull away, especially not when I'm doing stuff like that. But here we go, final lap. One more time around the track. I wish we had something equivalent to this when it comes to paved tracks. By now I love this track for off-road racing because it's... Yeah, since we can make our own checkpoints, since we figured out that the reverse layout is much better, it's a lot of fun. Works out really well. For the longest time this track was absolutely unusable, but now that we can use it, it is really good. But it's also one of the few tracks that even has any height differences, and all the paved tracks are completely flat. Which really isn't amazing, and I've been trying to get the devs to add a paved GP style racetrack to OG. No luck on that so far, so yeah. We're also now going to overtake Technical, apparently, for the end of last lap. It's a bit of a problem because he has been lagging quite a bit during the opening. I'm trying to stay on the inside here, and yeah, another big lag spike. I'm really trying to just not be right behind him when that stuff happens, because that's gonna be a real problem for me. And yeah, I actually managed to... I don't know what happened there. But I actually managed to keep my second position against Raging for the entire race. Was a bit close in the end, but it worked out. This was so fun, this was so intense, but happy how it ended up working out in my favor. Now to something that likely won't work out that well. This is another one of my tracks. This is by Young RX, so rallycross track, and I have completely underestimated the importance of the road sections here, and it also didn't go too well in a few other ways. So yeah, let's get right into this and see how this one goes. Starting the race now. So we're just gonna go across and then stay on the dirt road for a bit longer. So first up, my mistake was I've been going a bit too far on the inside here for the first part. But on the other part, I really couldn't go far enough to the inside. I limited the width of the checkpoints a bit so that people cannot just completely cut through the grass here. But yeah, with that person coming up from behind, I was not able to take the checkpoint. So I'm immediately down in last place, and it doesn't get much better from there. So I'm still running off-road tires, which isn't really amazing here. And technically having another lag moment and completely annihilating Omni Hill there. I had really no way to avoid that. I could have maybe hit the brakes a bit more, but sadly decided against that, also giving me some radiator damage here. So this is really not off to a great start. So trying to be careful with this tricky corner. This checkpoint behind the actual turn, just trying to once again keep people on the track. It would be a very different corner if you could just shortcut it without any repercussions. But yeah, now just trying to not get leg murdered by technical over there, and this is my own biggest mess up right here. I don't hit the apex well enough. I'm still running off-roads and just barely missing the checkpoint. I could have maybe gone off to the side a bit further and looped around. That would have been the smarter choice. I just didn't expect anybody to take a similar line to me there, so yeah. That's how we ended up having another run-in with Lilac 3 here. So back in last place, with quite a bit of a ways to go to the next person. Like, this was really not going well. Like the last track, it's going to be a 5-lap race, so I still have a chance to get back to somebody else, but it's also just really not going too well, and yeah, the car not being that stable here. Maybe I've been a bit too stiff on the rear axle with the tuning. So might have to soften it up a little bit after all. It's been going alright for the other track, but it's definitely a different driving style to what it was before. So might have to do a bit of retuning for the second one. Although to be clear, for the second set I already know that I won't be taking this car at all. I completely forgot that I have other vehicles in this class with this exact engine and good tuning setup. This is definitely a better run for the Miata. Or the Panther as it's called in-game. Yeah, overtaking Iliu right here, and at least gaining another place again. Again, I'm not slow when it comes to the overall pace, but this race has really been riddled with incidents and also some problems with my own driving style. Definitely trying to take the apex a bit better here in order to not get messed up by the checkpoints afterwards. I should maybe make that a lot wider. It shouldn't really be much of a limitation. It's really just only there to show people that they are supposed to go straight there. And now we got 3 different Phantoms fighting for position right here. I think I'm not the only one with radiator damage at this point, and slowly my temperatures are creeping up. Running a bit to the outside and getting pushed right, not seeing the rock in time. Another little issue, and this also made the radiator damage so much worse. Running through the gas station again. Coming around to this sharp turn and now on to the highway curves right here. Originally I actually wanted to run this entire route the other direction. It works well in both, but in the other one there are just a few really harsh bumps when you go from the on-road section to the, from the off-road section back onto the pavement. You can see the little lip up you can get at the side of the paved section, and in the other direction there are a few bumps through that really don't work out well at speed. I think especially if you come down through the gravel road the other direction here, that lip going into the intersection has a good chance of just eating you off into the greenery, so yeah. I wanted the track to be usable, so had to go with this direction instead. But yeah, 7th place out of 9. And I really have to be careful on the throttle now. Usually running a gear higher than I should, and as I mentioned before with the other race, these engines really suffer if you don't go right into the power band. With the V8 you can usually still make do with it. It's going to be slower, but it's not going to be that serious. With this one, you really start crawling. And yeah, Chess is in first position right now, Railing in second, and they are already in the last lap, so might be coming by to lap me. And actually looking at the map there, yeah, there's Chess right behind me. Not like I can do much against it. I can't even press the throttle down without overheating. So I'm just going into 5th gear and still overheating. Trying to stay off the racing line here to not mess with Chess in any capacity. And there we go. Still got another lap to go, and it's kind of painful being overtaken or even lapped after a race like this. But yeah, sometimes that's still how it works, and I'm aware that sometimes I even mess up other people, like I've been messed up here. From what I remember, Lilac-Sari actually got a significant amount of radiator damage due to running into me in the first lap, after I stood there on the side of the road and really should have moved further out of the way. So yeah, this hasn't really been the best of races for a lot of people. Chess is just going right into the gas station. But yeah, I'm trying to make the best of it, still trying to finish the race at least. But it definitely was a bit of a frustrating run, I gotta say. Like a lot of the things that we've seen in the race, they can happen. But all of them happening in one race makes it a particularly rough one, I gotta say. And Technical is actually likely missed the checkpoint there. Again, I should really just make it a bit wider. It's not really planned to be much of a problem there. I don't think it would give any unfair advantage if that one was just a bit more forgiving. But I was seeing that maybe there was still potential to catch up, but once again, I cannot even push the car anymore. It's just, if I push it too hard, I'm really gonna get out and push it by hand, so not really too much I could do there. Except just cut down another tree with a front bumper. But yeah, that's it for the second race. Now on to the last one. We are going into the quarry. This is a new track made by Chessbot. And yeah, we are going to go around the entirety of the quarry here in a bit and see how well all of that goes. I just tried to mute myself and clear my throat, but I noticed that muting wasn't really happening. I should really at some point get a new microphone. This thing isn't really working anymore. And yeah, got weirdly leg bumped, spun out and reset backwards onto the track, so that's a good start. After the last race I was really not looking forward to something like that happening again. But here we are, last place again, at least no real damage. Ilyu just being on the side of the road there. So yeah, at least I got one place back, and we have a few other people right in front of me. So I should be able to get something done here. Coming up to a hairpin. Trying to really set up for a drift there didn't go too well. Just meatballs brake checked me a little bit and yeah, slowed me down significantly. So still managed to overtake technical, which is always priority here because otherwise that lag is just too much. Tried to take a little speed through there, had a bit of a run-in with meatballs, and going onto the banking there wasn't the best idea, which I've immediately proven. So back in 8th position, quite a bit of distance to the people right in front of me. But yeah, this is a long race. This is gonna be 2 laps on a very long track, so we should still have chances to make up those positions again. It just sometimes can get a bit frustrating if you notice that you are faster than the other people, but you can't just find a way past them. I mean, it's not on them to get out of your way, it's absolutely down to the people behind somebody to find a way to overtake, but still it's having a run-in with some people, especially if some lag is involved, it can be quite a bit more painful than what it really should be. But yeah, I'm catching up back up to meatballs again, so let's see how it goes this time around. But I feel like if, and we are going to see this towards the end of the race, if I didn't have all the problems at the start of it, I could have gotten quite a better position in the end. The pace was definitely there, but the overtaking ability and incident avoidance skill wasn't really on my side this time around. Also almost spinning out here, so yeah. Stiffening up the rear of the car definitely came with a few downsides. But we are making our way back up onto the higher ledges of the quarry. Can see the next person up ahead. So if I manage to make it past Meatballs, I could even grab another position, hopefully rather quickly, but yeah, Meatballs is going to be the first obstacle here. But nothing too much of a problem in terms of losing this position. Technical is behind me, but decently far away, so unless I make a really bad mistake, I should be able to keep the position. And yeah, there's a very deep hole there on the inside of the turn. I reported it recently. It's actually already been fixed for the next CT update. I don't know what happened up in front there, but that's the free position and I'm gonna take it. But yeah, that bump has been in the road there ever since the quarry came out, and I always disliked it. I never managed, or I never bothered to report it up until now. But it is going to get fixed, and it should make this part of the quarry a bit more usable for different tracks in the future. I already have something planned here for which I really need that fix, which is why I finally got it reported. So we're gonna see what comes out in terms of quarry racetracks in the near future. I already made a new layout, but I don't have any plan for including it in an event anytime soon, so we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, second lap. Still stuck behind meatballs. Everybody else is quite a few meters further up ahead. Some even already down on the lower ledge, coming back from the serpentine there. And I finally managed to get up in front of meatballs, so yeah, hopefully I managed to keep the position and can maybe just catch up with everybody else now. Next one up ahead would be Zeki and Raging. 400 meters away from me, which is quite a lot, so unlikely that I'll be able to catch them anytime soon, but at least I now can try and drive my own pace, hopefully without any incidents from now on. I noticed this shortcut here, maybe overdoing it a little bit, almost tipping over, but hey, it worked. Decent jump there. But I'm very glad that I didn't have any radiator damage for this. These faster parts would have been absolutely cool to do with having to slow down just to not overheat all the time. Coming down to the lowest part of the track right now. Few fast corners over here. And from now it's back up to the climb. But yeah, I think pace-wise I'm really just doing a decent job here, going through everything, and it feels like I'm getting maybe a bit closer to Zeki in terms of the distance shown. It was still at 400 meters, but I feel like it's on the closer end of that, and yeah, if this was a longer race I could have maybe gotten another position out of it, but as it is right now, we are getting to the end of the track, the end of the race, and yeah, there's only so much you can do. Second to last hairpin. Not the most gracious way to take this. I wish I could have taken a bit more speed through here. But with these engines, yeah, they are lacking a bit of torque in order to do real power slides. It's definitely not an N4 GT with all-wheel drive and the 300 horsepower V8. That thing can really do some rally-style drifting around here. Also, I'm really getting stuck on the bump the second time around, even almost high-centering myself there. But thankfully I was able to slide out of there and get some grip again. But yeah, at this point we are just following the ledge around the north side of the quarry and then back to the start-finish line. But yeah, while definitely not perfect, this car with the current setup definitely a step up from the last time we saw it. I hope I can maybe improve it a bit more for the second set and see how well that goes. But with how I have things planned out right now, I will likely upload this before doing a few more recordings, and we are going to see the second set of this event way later down the line. I just try to keep a bit of a distance between uploading the first and second set of the same event so that you're not basically seeing the same stuff all the time. I'm also considering that if I have a really boring version of the event, if I participate in both of the sets, maybe I'll only make commentary for one of them. We'll have to see about it. I'm not too sure yet. I don't really like the idea of doing commentaries for both of them if it's the same races. We are going to have to see about it. If they play out very differently, then there's definitely a good reason to do so, but if they are too similar, maybe not so much. Anyways, I'll have to figure that one out. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the meta. I'm open to suggestions on the meta, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't want the stuff to be too similar, but yeah, note that for the next few episodes, it's going to be racing, 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 because right now there isn't really much else that I'm doing in this game, at least not on the live version. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time. Until then, as always, have a good one, and bye bye.